Eventually, Congress decides to absorb as much territory as possible with the fewest people, but that leaves few hands to mine the resources. From the very beginning, the West depended for its labor on Mexicans. So that our wealth and prosperity here is not only due to the labor of the original settlers, but is also due to those Americans who were conquered. Then comes the Depression, unemployment skyrockets, a furor arises over competition by Mexican labor for jobs, and the Hoover administration initiates a massive deportation program. As many as 1 million Mexicans were just loaded onto trains and shipped out of the country. Some estimates are that as many as 60% of those deported were actually American citizens. There's been a pattern now for the last 100 years of Mexicans being recruited into the country and then shipped back out of the country. Recruited into the country, shipped back out of the country. The reality is that it's two countries, but one economy. The Mexicans function as a reserve labor force in good times in America and as an expendable labor force in the bad times.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
During World War II, you couldn't get any more immigrants from Europe, and the United States economy to fight the war was growing. The government was forced with two choices: bring African Americans up from the South and bring Mexicans and Puerto Ricans up from Latin America.
In Spanish, braceros means a man who works with arms and hands. But in American lingo, they are called lifesavers.
During World War II, the Bracero program is initiated as a means of guaranteeing the steady flow of labor.
The important thing in those days was, how many hands do you have? ¿Cuántas manos tiene? The more hands you had, the more cotton you could pick. So education for Latinos was not that important. At age 10, I began my first formal schooling. A school that was called Schumannsville Mexican School. We had one room, one teacher, 8 grades. I felt that the majority of society wanted to keep you down, that you were a migrant, you should be in your place. Two days after my 17th birthday, I was sent to the South Pacific. The Marine Corps changed my life. It taught me a great deal about hard work. It taught me a great deal about values. I've always felt that proud feeling of being a Marine. After coming back, we felt that we fought for the United States. So we aren't just as good as any person. I took a GED and I passed it, and I went on to college when I was recalled back to Korea. Landed in Busan, Korea on my 24th birthday. We were not only fighting the enemy, but we were fighting the bitter cold. One of my men in my platoon got wounded, got shot in the head, delirious. I carried him up the hill. I got trapped on my knee and my hand. I kept on going. I came back from Korea and I got a job teaching one of the poor school districts in Texas. And I had 44 students, all Latinos. I still run into so many students, and some would say to me, if it had not been for you, I would have never finished high school. I always wear in my lapel an American flag because I am so proud to have served this country. And my parents were very proud that I served this country. We had 4 brothers that went to service during World War II. They say, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Several 100,000 Mexicans and Puerto Ricans served in World War II. And interestingly, much of the civil rights ferment in the Latino community came after the war from those veterans.
Dr. King convened us. We can talk about what the farm workers meant and how they fed the country. Because we who in the South grew up picking cotton and chopping tobacco didn't know those who were picking tomatoes and picking lettuce and picking grapes. We didn't know we were being picked on in different fields and different languages. When we were fighting for voting rights, that we sit in the same office together. We were fighting for equal protection, that we sit. We fight for affirmative action, that we sit. We fight for our share board seats, that we sit. So on all issues around equal opportunity and equal protection under the law and civil rights and social justice, that we end up together.